Hi, grammar students. This lesson is on fragments, or what we call incomplete sentences. A complete sentence has three components: a subject, a predicate, that's a complete verb, and a complete thought. Look at this sentence. John runs every day. So we have John, the subject, what John does, runs. And if I just said John runs, it feels like there's something missing. So I added every day. Now the picture becomes clearer and the sentence is more complete. So sometimes there's just one item that's missing, and that creates a fragment and not a complete sentence. So if you look here, you have runs every day. Well, who's doing it? It needs a subject. John every day. Well, what is John doing every day? This needs a verb. John runs. Okay, I have a subject, I have a predicate, but it lacks detail, so I'm still a little questioning of what exactly is happening. John runs away, John runs down the street, John runs whenever. I need the extra information. So watch out for partial verbs, or what we call gerunds. Those are verbs with ing, but they're not the action. In fact, a gerund's a noun. John running down the street. This needs a helper right here. I don't know when John is running or whether he was running. As you can see down here in the correction, John is running down the street indicates it's happening now. Or if I want to use running down the street as the subject, then I would have to add a predicate. Running down the street can be dangerous. Fragments may have subjects, they may have predicates, but again, they may be missing something else, and so they're not really complete. Thought seems lost or in the wind, so to speak. Because they run fast. Well, the word because often makes a sentence, a supposed sentence, really a fragment. So because whatever really should be added onto something either at the front or the back. So here's another one. Because they running fast. Okay, now we have because, which makes it a fragment, and then we have the ing verb, and again, I don't know when or where it's happening. So here's another one. Running fast fun. Running is a gerund, a noun, subject in this case. And then we have details, fast fun. Well, where's the verb? You say, well, ing running is a verb. No, in this case, it's really the subject. So running is fast fun. They're fragments. You don't intentionally write fragments, but usually it's because the writer leaves off something, leaves off the helping verb, or leaves off an additional thought. Maybe the writer wants to add another thought to the previous complete sentence. Here's one. I cannot go. Well, that's complete. I say, well, maybe I need to add some more because it is raining. Well, this part is the fragment. I sort of thought, well, I have a period here, so I need to capitalize and start again. But what I really needed to do was erase my period, as I did here in the correction, and add the information. And because never takes a comma. I cannot go because it is raining. So let's look at some fragments in the following passage. Fragments are easily buried in a paragraph or passage because we just read continuously and we don't think about, oh, that was a fragment. Two old men in our neighborhood share a small apartment with their 5 cats and 3 dogs. They take a walk every day, rain or shine. Everyone turns to look at them as they pass. Retired businessmen, each wearing a suit and tie. The old men pay no attention to traffic signals, so drivers often honk at them and go straight into the park without looking at anything. The old men always carry their umbrellas, even when the weather is sunny and the skies are blue. The neighborhood would not be the same without them because we see them every day. We used to them. All right, so let's look at this. And the first sentence looks okay. 2 men in our neighborhood share a small apartment. That sounds good. Then we have this, with their 5 cats and 3 dogs. Capital letter, period. That's not what makes a sentence. There's no verb in here. Look at this. What do the cats and dogs do? Wait a minute. Maybe it's supposed to go over here with the apartment and the old men. So if I say 2 old men in our neighborhood share a small apartment with their 5 cats and 3 dogs, that makes more sense. Next one, they take a walk every day, rain or shine. Again, looks like a complete sentence. They, subject, take, what they take. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. It's okay. All right, let's look at the next one. Everyone turns to look at them as they pass. Everyone turns again and tells you what they do when they turn, they look. So we're good here. But look at the next one. Retired businessmen, each wearing a suit and tie. So we have the subject here. We sort of have a verb, but then we have this word in the middle, and that's not a helper. So maybe that's what we need to fix and just say retired businessmen, they each wear, or they are each wearing a suit and tie. And that way the thought is a little more complete. This comma, this each, which seems to interrupt the thought, makes it unclear. All right, let's look at the next one. This is a long one. The old men pay no attention to traffic signals. So I'm going to stop there. Here's a conjunction with a comma. So let's look at the front part of this sentence and see if there's a complete subject and predicate. So the subject is men. And what do the men do? They pay no attention. So that seems okay. So let's look at the second part of the sentence. Drivers often honk at them. So we have drivers as a subject and honk in this part of the sentence. So this is a complete sentence too. So this is actually 2 complete, what we call independent clauses, joined together with the so and the comma, and this is a complete sentence. Now if we had a fragment here and then a complete sentence, or a complete sentence and then a fragment, it would be okay. We just need to make sure what all we have here makes sense. All right, let's look at the next one and go straight into the park without looking at anything. Well, we know we're talking about the old men, but it's not stated here in this piece. We've got go straight into the park, but who's looking at the without looking at anything? Who's doing that? Okay, so again, they or the old men, I would say the men, or even take this whole thing here and put it up here behind signals. But we need to do something because this is a fragment. All right, the next one, the old men always carry their umbrellas. Again, sounds pretty good. We've got men, carry, what they carry, complete sentence. Even when the weather is sunny and the skies are blue. Again, sort of sounds like a sentence. Got weather is sunny and skies are blue, but the words even when make it a fragment. Sounds like it should be attached to something, and I would attach it to the previous sentence to explain why they always carry their umbrellas. And then finally, we got the neighborhood would not be the same without them. That's a sentence, isn't it? We got neighborhood, we got would, be, same. So all that seems to be predicate adding together. So yes, this is a sentence. Then we have because we see them every day. All right, so what's going on there? What do we see every day? Okay, this again, because starting a sentence sounds a little bit off. So I could attach it here. I could put it with the next item, says we are used to them, and say because we see them every day, join it to we are used to them, and now it makes sense. So here are the fragments that we corrected. A sentence fragment is any group of words that is punctuated as a sentence, does not have a subject or complete verb. Why called a sentence fragment? Broken or unfinished sentence. Why do you suppose sentence fragments occur? Know what they mean to say in their writing, but may come out as a sentence fragment or incomplete thought. The reader not able to make sense of it. Have you had problems with sentence fragments before? Most writers have problems because they think in linear terms. All right. Now this paragraph has a lot of good information, and you probably read it and say, hey, I understand what's going on. But imagine someone who might not quite know what this is. So let's go through it. So again, today we are going to learn, there's enough there to be a sentence. We have a subject, we have a predicate, so we're good there. A sentence is any group of words that is punctuated as a sentence. So sentence fragment is, and then we have it linked to this last part. That makes it complete. So that's okay. So we're good. We're off to a good start. Does not have a subject or complete verb. It starts with a verb right here. Most of the time when a sentence starts with a verb, it's actually a question. So here we don't know what does not. So again, we know the topic is fragment, but it doesn't say it. I should be able to take that piece out and see a complete sentence, and I can't. So why called a sentence fragment? So this is a question, but when we have a question, we still need to have a complete sentence. So why is it called? I need actually to add is and it called in order to make it a complete question or sentence. Broken or unfinished sentence. That's pretty basic information, but it's very incomplete. It reads like a fragment. So again, we need to add something to that. And then next question, why do you suppose sentence fragments occur? Oh, okay, so why do you suppose, so you subject, do suppose, well, it's all complete, tells you what do we suppose. Know what they mean to say in their writing, but may come out as a sentence fragment or incomplete thought. Okay, so who knows? Could be, I'm thinking, is that the fragment? The fragment doesn't know. So I think this is supposed to be writers. So maybe writers know what they mean to say in their writing, but look, okay, but with a comma. So here comes another part that should be a complete sentence. So again, I need to say, well, what am I talking about? It may come out as a sentence fragment, and then just the word it fixes it. The reader not able to make sense of it. Again, nothing real complicated to fix this, just the word is. The reader is not able to make sense of it. Next question or sentence, have you had problems with sentence fragments before? You have had. All right, that's good. So that's not a fragment. Then most writers have problems. Okay. Little light is technically correct, but maybe I need to know what. And then it says because, there's because they think in linear terms, and there's nothing behind that. So this because probably should have been attached here. And so most writers have problems because they think in linear terms. Right, and there's the fragments. It can really be embarrassing to be so unprepared, especially when you go on your first interview. So in these cases, in some of them, you have a complete sentence and then a fragment. In other cases, you may have no fragments. Let's look at this. Then I attended Smith Middle School. A middle school that was a bad experience. That word right there, that, is what's causing the problem here. So if we took that out, we could say a middle school was a bad experience, or my middle school was a bad experience. Or I could take out a middle school and just add it to that was a bad experience. The view was filled with beauty. That's okay. But then you got such as and all these wonderful examples, and a lot of people like to add examples, but they don't put them in the same sentence that they started talking about. So they should attach. And if I just added this to it, took the period out, lowercase such, and just stuck it together, it would be a complete sentence. Look at number 3. He taught for an hour. So that sounds good. This one starts with like other instructors in the department. It almost sounds like it should go here, but if you keep reading, it says he did not encourage students to ask questions. So this one's all correct. There's no fragment. And then next one we have in each house a wide range of features to choose from. Okay, so the word to here in front of the verb messes it up. So I could say in each house there is a wide range of features to choose from, or you may choose from a wide range of features in order to make it a correct sentence. The next piece is a correct sentence. The last one, or number 5, a few of the less serious players would go into a restaurant for steak dinner, a few glasses of beer. That's okay. And then it says after this, and then it says they were ready. Again, this is correct. So in number 5, there are no fragments. And then finally, the last one you have, it can really be embarrassing, and that's okay, but then you have this especially when, and again, writers start with especially, and before you know it, you've got a fragment. So if you want to add especially, add it to the sentence you just finished. So here you can see where the fragments were that we just discussed. All right, number 7, the website has a reputation for drawing young fans, although its content is raunchy. In early grades, young girls excel in math, but are not encouraged to continue in high school. Number 9, I tried to get a glimpse of the president, not realizing that he would not win the election. Number 10, as Christmas nears, remember the time with our children. To think about this makes us happy. And then number 11, making up her mind quickly, Sue ordered 24 red roses for her spouse, hoping her apology would be accepted. All right, so let's go back to 7. The website has a reputation. Well, that sounds like a complete sentence. But look here, we started with the word although. And this is another one of those words that makes things fragmented. So if I want to say although, I should attach it to the previous sentence, and then I will have a complete sentence. Number 8, in early grades, young girls excel in math. That's good. But in the next part, but are not encouraged. Well, we know that we're talking about the girls, but it doesn't say that in this sentence. So I would attach this to the previous piece and have a complete sentence. Number 9, I tried to get a glimpse of the president. Well, that's complete, but then not realizing that he would not win the election. So that doesn't feel like it's attached to anything. If I took it by itself, I'd like, well, who's not realizing it? So I need to attach it. I could put it up here in front, but then it sounds weird. because I didn't realize, and then I tried to get a glimpse. So I would change this last part, not realizing he would not win the election, uh, and put, I thought he would win, but he did not, or something like that, because this is very awkward, and just attaching it almost sounds like the president doesn't realize. Then number 10, as a Christmas nears, we remember the time with our children. That's good, we remember. And then you have this set up, to think about this makes us happy. And you have this infinitive phrase, to think about this, and that entire phrase works as the subject and works with the predicate makes. So this is actually complete as well. And then last one, making up her mind quickly, it's got a period. That's not quite right. It says Sue ordered. I think her refers to Sue. This should be attached to the front. So making up her mind quickly, and make that a comma. Sue ordered 2 dozen red roses for her spouse. And then hoping her apology would be accepted. Here again, starting with an ing often makes us end up with fragments. So maybe I should say she hoped her apology would be accepted. And there are the fragments again. Last set, we were all having a good time until one of our oldest and best friends had too much to drink. 13, although he was an old horse, my steed was a wild stallion to me. With my car parked on the side of the road, I felt scared, trying to wave down help. The neighborhood has many affordable options because the houses are small and older. 16, working hard to finish my classes, I found I could be a great student. Unfortunately, learned that in my later adult years. All right, so let's look at the fragments. Here we have, we were all having a good time. That sounds okay, but then we have this until. And until, again, is one of those words that really says I should be attached to something earlier, not by itself. If you try to say this all by itself, until one of our oldest and best friends had too much to drink, you suddenly go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. So connect them. And you don't even need a comma. Just make this a lowercase, take off the period. All right, although he was an old horse. Again, if you read that by itself, not with the my steed, it doesn't make any sense. This should start this next complete sentence. And now it would be complete. And all I do is put a comma here and lowercase my m. With my car parked on the side of the road, I felt scared. Okay, that's okay. But trying to wave down help, it's well, who's trying? Well, I know it's me or I, because I just said that, but by itself it makes no sense. So let's put it over here with the scared. Take the period off, lowercase the t. You could put a comma there if you want it, but either way, that would make it make it a complete sentence, and all the information would be together. All right, this is number 15, the first part. The neighborhood has many affordable options. Complete sentence. But here we go. Started with because. I probably should have attached it over here. So take the period off, lowercase the b, and put it together, and it'll make more sense. Finally, working hard to finish my classes, I found I could be a great student. Well, that's a lot of information. Sounds complete. I found I could. We're good. Unfortunately, learned that in my later adult years. Okay. Again, it is next to this sentence where I know I'm talking about I, and that sometimes is what the writer forgets to see, but this needs an I, because who learned? Unfortunately, didn't learn. I learned. So it just needs the word I to be correct. And there you go. There are the fragments. All right. Now let's look at one more in paragraphs. So read this to yourself. All right, so in July 2001, flash floods swept through the southern portion of West Virginia. That sounds correct. Damaging up to 3,000 homes and causing $20 million in damage. There's that ing, and so that should be over here in the same sentence with the floods. Or I can change this to say they damaged up to and caused. Likely the most costliest flood in West Virginia's history. Okay, likely the most costly flood. Where's my verb? I have no verb. All right, so again, they were likely the most, or it was likely because it says flood, and so that would make it correct. And then the next one, according to one report, the flooding left downtown area Kimbrell a row of broken. All right, so this sounds good. The flooding left, so we're good, and then it has a quote, so it works as a complete sentence. Then the next one, the storms caused mudslides. That's correct. But then we got washing. There's that ing again. Washing out bridges. So again, I need to say they were washing out bridges, or they washed out bridges and left yards caked. Either way, that would make it correct. And then the next one, the storms that devastated West Virginia, having followed 2 months of heavy rainfall. All right, if I change this ing, because if I have an ing, I need a helping verb. And there's no helping verb over here. So if I say the storms that devastated West Virginia have had or had followed 2 months of heavy rainfall, that would make it correct. Here you go. All right, finally, the storm waters filled the streams. That's okay. Winding through the area's narrow valleys. Winding. Ordinary, the Guayadat River, all right, runs only. That sounds okay, but not on Sunday. Again, a sentence doesn't have to be long to be correct, but if you look, there's no verb on this in this piece. It ran 20 feet deep. So maybe I could attach it here, and that would make more sense. Or take out the not and say, on Sunday, comma, it ran 20 feet deep. And then eyewitnesses reported. That's good. It's got a subject, predicate, tells you what they reported. Others recalling recreation vehicles and mobile homes floating. Another ing. Again, were recalling, or take the ing off and make it ed, recalled recreational vehicles, and now it would make sense. There you go. All right, one more. The final paragraph for this short essay reading of fragments. According to MSNBC, the July floods killed 1 person in West Virginia and 3 in Kentucky. Okay, that sounds good. The floods killed. Not a good story. It's a good sentence. Though flooding after heavy rains is common in this mountain region, period. Well, that though's messing that up. Maybe I could just take that off and say flooding after heavy rains is common. Then a number of residents blame the timber and coal industries for the severity of recent floods and mudslides. So number of residents blame. That looks good. An assertion these industries deny. Now this one sounds a little odd, but you have the subject, industries, and then you have the verb, deny, and you even have what they deny. So even though the sentence is written a little weirdly or in a different order, it's correct. Arguing that flooding has not corresponded to mining locations. Okay, So arguing. Who's arguing? We probably think it's the industries, but it's not in this part of the sentence, so this is a fragment. An assistant state forester, Ed Murner, suggested that forest fires may also have contributed to the problem. So Ed Murner suggested, or the forester suggested, so this is correct. Since they burn away leaves and destroy vegetation on forest floors that typically absorb water. Okay, so here's the word since, and this is again a word that often makes the rest of it a fragment. This really sounds like it should be attached over here to problem. So if we took the period out and lowercase the s, we would have a complete sentence. Here you go. Thanks for watching me talk about fragments. I hope that this helps. If not, leave comments in the box below and make some suggestions of how I could improve this. But fragment identification usually just takes practice and slow evaluation of each sentence. But if you do that, you will find the fragments. Thanks for watching.